right, sounds good. Okay. Have a good day. Hey, Brad. Brad, you there? Oh, there you are. How's it going, Brad?
Hey.
It's you and me so far.
I'm surprised Carl's not on here yet.
I know he's going to join us, but yeah, hopefully soon.
There he is.
Hey, Carl. Oh, he's connecting.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hi, Carl.
Good job, Brad.
Thanks.
Awesome, man.
It was fun.
You bet.
Wait, what was a good job?
I won B flights for our regional championship for that veterans group I was telling you about.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I was just in Kansas City, so I won in a playoff, and then
Okay.
I go to nationals in September out at Baltusrol.
Oh, good for you. Wow,
Yeah.
very good for you.
That'll be
Back
good time.
to Jersey, Brad.
Yeah, back to Jersey.
Upper or lower?
I don't know yet. So we're doing a practice round at Plainfield Country Club.
That's nice.
And
That's a nice track.
Yeah, the
Nice
first
track.
round's at Baltusrol, and the final round is at Plainfield.
Nice.
All the main festivities and everything will be at Baltusrol.
Beautiful place.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, just the three of us right now.
We need one more.
We do.
Did anyone email you back, Jerry, that they couldn't come?
Janet
Janet and Dennis.
and Dennis are not joining. Mark emailed me. It sounded like he was going to be on. He just asked if this was published. So I don't know. Whatever. I don't know.
Or Tom?
I didn't hear back from Tom,
Ah,
but
I'm in Massachusetts and won't be attending.
you're in Massachusetts?
That's what Dennis wrote. There must be no internet in Massachusetts. So I'm just kidding.
Or he's, doing something. Who knows? No, I hear you.
Oh,
no internet in Massachusetts. That's right, Bessie. It's like a different country.
Well,
Oh, there's someone.
oh, there's Mark. Hey, Mark.
Hey there.
Okay. Kelsey, do you want to take over?
Oh boy, I'm rusty, but sure. Oh, Tom's here.
There's Tom.
You're on mute, Tom.
Still on mute. I'll try to lip read for him.
I'm sitting here
There you
saying,
go.
oh, sorry, I can fix that. But of course, nobody can hear me saying, I'm sorry, I can fix that. Well, good evening, everybody.
Hi,
Hi,
Tom.
Tom. Hi, Tom.
What's up? Got to call the meeting to order, Tom. Okay, call the meeting to order. That's done, right? Kelsey did that.
No, I was just about to.
Why don't you run the meeting? I'm not feeling that well.
Okay. Let's call the meeting to order. Is there anyone from the public here to comment? I don't
No.
see anyone. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We're rolling.
We are indeed.
Okay, right on. So financial updates. Anybody guys, did you guys get the financials from July?
Yes.
Did that just come out? Because I thought what I saw was through June.
I sent it out this morning when I received them this morning.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Pretty healthy, nothing too crazy.
Well, ask a quick question. How are you doing relative to the budget?
We are going to exceed budget expectations.
Okay.
We're almost
Then-
there.
Yeah, we're literally almost there already.
When I was,
Whoa.
I'm sorry. When I looked at the previous one, it looked like the food and beverage was still really slow this year. Is that continuing?
That is, that's incorrect.
Oh,
Compared to
good.
last year?
Yeah, no, compared to the budget.
No,
I don't see how anything could be worse than last year.
no. I'm not seeing that, but I mean, granted, something could happen with mandates, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. No, I think everybody, we're in a pretty healthy spot as of right now, but who knows, that could change tomorrow, with any possible changes in Dane County's COVID rules, right?
Yeah, right.
But Tom, as of right now, we're only in food, we're only I'm looking at it, give me a sec. I mean, we're only $236,000 shy of budget, and we still have, 3 solid months left.
Right.
I would say 2 very solid months left. October is always funny, right? But if we did June and July's number in August and September, which is very doable, we would exceed budget.
All right. That was the only one that jumped at me, so I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
You're being pretty quiet, Mark.
Hi,
Kevin?
Kevin.
Hello.
Got your camera on, Kevin, or?
Nope.
No, let's keep going.
Were you gonna say something, Mark? Did you have a?
No, no, not at all.
No?
I was just saying hello to Mark in my usual way.
No other questions about finances?
Nope. Looks good. Great.
General
From an
question.
operations standpoint, guys, just some obviously good news from the public is that we received a silver medal for Best in Madison, right? University Ridge did take first this year, but that's still very, very good news. We've had an incredible amount of positive comments on the condition of the golf course. I cannot tell you how many subjective comments that have been given to me, my staff. It's just been remarkable. So what we are doing as a committee and what we are doing as a staff, in my opinion, is incredible. And I hope that we continue to do so because people are definitely noticing. We received a ranking as far as municipal ranking. Now, this is a third-party ranking, so take this how you would like.
You're leaving. You didn't turn it off.
I know. I want them to know.
But we are, we were voted 3rd best municipal golf facility in the state of Wisconsin. Behind, I think the number 1 was Brown Deer, or maybe it was Washington County was number 1, and then Brown Deer was number 2, and then Pleasant View Golf Course was number 3. So, we are doing some incredible things. Yeah, and I think I want to preface that for the future with our budget and our capital and our reserve is I don't know that we should stop what we're doing is what I'm trying to say. So
Any new carts?
that's what you got out of that. No new carts, Tom. I promise you, once we get new carts, we will have new carts. We got a letter from Yamaha like 3 or 4 days ago. That's they're in a tough spot right now, and I don't have an answer as to when the new carts are coming.
Wow. We did get one new drink cart, right?
We did. Yep, we did purchase a new drink cart. Yep.
All right.
So, and we did that mainly because number one, the 2 beverage carts were breaking down and continuing to do so. And number 2, we've always wanted to get a 3rd beverage cart because one of our biggest complaints is the fact that, with 27 holes and when it's very busy, they don't see the beverage cart enough. And so we try to fix that. And it was just an opportunity to fix it, and we took it.
All in favor of that? Go straight to the till. Sorry about the noise. I was told, I'm up in Door County and I was just told you got to start cooking. So I had to get, you heard me dragging a grill around.
God. So that's all I have for item number 1. Any questions?
But yeah, I asked about the carts, right?
You did ask about carts. Yep.
Yes, Tom, you did.
Every month he asks about the damn carts.
When I have more information, I promise I will deliver.
Well,
We're all waiting very
Jeremy, in the
patiently for this.
meantime, I will have fun asking. So
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
it's
Fair
all
enough.
in jest.
Just steal a cart from Door County and bring it back.
Oh God, we have the worst carts in the world up here. Like, you
Drive
could
it back,
steal a
John.
cart here, but you would not get very far with it.
Okay, no other questions with that?
No.
Okay, Pleasant View Road update is, I did talk to Kevin Norby and we're still on track with everything. I don't really have any massive update in regards to Pleasant View Road just yet, but just know that Kevin and his team are aware and on it, and they've been talking with Strand, so.
Okay.
All right, moving on to the 2022 budget. All right. Should we talk operating first? Do you guys have any questions in regards to my initial budget?
Can you share that on your screen, Jeremy?
What are you guys seeing?
Budget.
Golf shop sales.
Okay. Is there anything?
Hang on, back up just a little bit on that one. I just want to take a look at the now course revenues.
So go right to the bottom line there. What this says is you're expecting 3.9 for the year, but you're only gonna go down to 3.3 for next year. Is that what I see? Or is there something else I'm missing?
That's what you see.
So that don't fly.
What doesn't fly, Mark?
It just doesn't make any sense that you'd say that you're gonna end your year this year at 3.9, but you're only gonna budget 3.3, 3.4 for next
So,
year.
Look at the trends from 2018, 19, 20. I mean,
I get the fact that
like,
they're bouncing.
you want me
all
to
over.
increase the budget, $800,000?
Well, how confident are you that you're gonna hit 3.9 for this year?
I'm very confident, but remember that golf's boom is still there from COVID. Right?
What's telling you that things are gonna fall off?
Well, we've got Pleasant View Road to start dealing with for one.
That's going to be huge.
Okay. Number two, we already saw it this year where par 3 took somewhat of a hit due to families doing other activities.
Mhm.
I mean, my gosh, like 4 years ago, we approved a $2.6 million budget.
That
Like,
was
holy
the
cow.
actual.
Now you want me to, we exceeded budget. We haven't not exceeded budget in, I think, since my tenure. Right? It's like,
I'm just trying to, so
if we
I'm
want-
gonna give you the same questions that are gonna happen at council, right? They're gonna wanna know why you think that you're gonna overperform this year, but way underperform next year. So you just have to have a good answer, and that's all I'm asking, is that there's a rationale behind. I mean, so I'm not sure when Pleasant View Road is supposed to start construction, but I didn't think it was till late in the year or even 2023.
From my understanding, they're going to start preliminary construction in August or even sooner.
Okay, but most of your season's already done by then.
I don't disagree.
Well, I'm just saying what needs to happen is we need to craft a story around the right. People are going to see you're expecting 3.9 this year, and that they won't understand that you're going to project a 600,000 drop from this year, unless there's something rational behind it. And so that's all I'm trying to help you do is we need to craft a story that says, yeah, we had a great year because we think that, we had some COVID bounce back, but the expectation is that it's probably closer to 2020 with a slight increase because of Pleasant View Road reconstruction and whatever other things that are going to happen. That's the thing. That's the piece that's missing. If you say it's going to be 3.4, it's going to be 3.4, but we just need to have some narrative behind it.
Yeah, I understand.
And it doesn't have to happen before you submit this. I just, when we have those discussions, it's going to have to come out.
When
I get it, but holy cow. I mean, like, we've killed it, right? And Mark, I'm working my butt off, and so is my entire team. And we cannot continue on that trend, right? We approved a budget in 2021 of $2.8 million, right? And it's like, wow, now sorry, I didn't project 3.9,
I think, yeah, I don't think you're.
But I understand where you're coming from, right? I get it. And am I being realistic by going off of trends from 2020? So I'm going off of trends in 2021, 2020, 2019, and frankly, 2018, right? 2017, I did not go really off trends on that. So those are trends, right? This year is a banner year, And we thought last year was a banner year, but COVID has still persisted, and we are doing the right things. That's why I kind of prefaced this what we are doing by reinvesting in ourselves. People are noticing, and maybe I'm mistaking COVID as the opportunity here. Maybe it's just we're simply creating the opportunities because we're doing the right things. I do believe that that's part of it, right?
I don't disagree, and nor am I trying to say that you're not working hard enough or any of that. Well, all I'm trying to say is that that's a red flag to see that dip in projected income from one year to a budget the next year. And there has to be a story behind it. That's all.
No, Mark, you're absolutely right, Mark. And there is a story. And part of that story is that we had an amazingly lucky, fortunate year this year that caught us all by surprise on the revenue side. That doesn't mean that that'll continue. That's just a fact. But we also are dealing with, over the next 2 to 2.5 years, partial reconstruction of the course. We know how heavy an impact that is. We've been through it once before. People don't want to play. Leagues get pissed off. They get jammed up on other nines. And then we've got the road to go along with it. So we're projecting conservative numbers because we know from history that we're going to be affected by those events. Plus, we got extraordinarily lucky this year. So I would ask that you hold us to our projections and not our luck, because it was a lucky year.
It was a lucky, I don't want to dismiss the work we've done though either, Tom, right? Like with the golf outings that we continued to figure out how to break in, and with frankly, dynamic pricing, and with the food and beverage operation in full force this year, with the driving range, the practice facility being in full force this year. Remember last year, we really didn't have food and beverage for the majority. We didn't have any golf carts for the first month, right? Because of COVID restrictions. Or maybe it wasn't a month, it was a week or two. I can't quite remember. I don't know if you all recall, it was walking only for a while. But the practice range, we didn't open until I want to say almost June off the top of my head. But what we've done as a team is we've figured out ways to manage these golf outings and manage people. And we've really become very, very efficient. I just don't know if this trend is going to stay, right? I would love to say it's going to stay. Mark, then yeah, I would budget for $3.9 million. But I
don't care what the number is, right? It could be 4 million, it could be 2.6.
Right.
What we need to have is some type of walk between the ending projection to next year's number.
Right.
That's all I'm asking for.
And then part of it, Mark, was that the goal of always breaking even, right?
Right.
Paying 400 grand to the city, 100 grand to us, and then 300 grand to capital, and we break out at zero.
Right.
Right now, it's not that.
Jeremy, I'm not trying to say you're good or bad here. All I'm saying is we need a walk.
I understand.
That's all.
I do. I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
But here's our expenditures right there, guys.
So basically what you're saying is that you're anticipating 600,000 in revenue increase off of the base amount and an increase in cost. So about 50% of margin here, right?
Ish. Yep, that's correct.
All right.
So the net, but here's where the conundrum lies, is we would have the net positive of 300 grand.
Why is that a conundrum?
Well, it's a good thing. It's a great problem to have, right? But remember,
Right.
our goal has always been pay the city 400, the 800 rule, or not rule, or guideline, right?
Right.
It's like, do we fund, that's the question we need to start having, is where does that extra 300 grand go? Now, to Tom's point, the reconstruction process is going to be painful, right? I mean, we really are going to have to be careful on that. In 2023, it's going to be interesting, and we're going to have to rebuild a little bit. We're going to lose some golf outings. We're going to lose some leagues, you know, and so we're going to go through pain in 2023, 2024 potentially, right? And then me and the PV crew will continue to rebuild and tell the story, right?
Right. So if anybody asks, I would suggest that margin be saved for those next 2 years, 23 and 24, as an additional buffer for revenue loss.
That's a good idea, because we know we're gonna have it.
Yeah, I mean, the lake course really, you know, I was talking to Kevin a little bit, and they're projecting the lake course to be closed for a few days.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Okay.
Surprised.
So Mark, I was also trying to be careful of that, right? And I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. I thought that the 3.3 million was a very obtainable, but yet a solid goal for us in 2022. You know, I mean, if you look at what our trends have been, I mean, we've been 2 points. Now, 2020 or 2017, there was a transfer of funds in there. So you can't use 3.2 as a baseline. We transferred funds from the bike park or something like that. Okay.
Right. They paid for the property they took.
Exactly. So that 3.2 is a smidge misleading. That wasn't necessarily from golf funds, really.
Well, you can see it right there, right? Line 57. So about
Right.
$606,000 that got transferred in.
Oh, there you go. Okay, there you go. So what is that number? Let's see, what is it? 3.2.
Or 2.5.
So was that 2.5 million or something like that?
Right.
Okay, so then 2.6, 2.9, and you know, and then it jumped up obviously in 2020 because golf was one of the only things that people could do to 3.2. And then golf still is, a lot of people feel very safe with golf, and especially now with the, you know, what's going on right now, golf is continue, in my opinion, to be high demand, which is why I'm projecting those numbers. I could be wrong. You know, it might come in at 3.6. You know, if we get shut down, I mean, geez, that 3.8 ain't happening.
So let me ask you this. Have you talked to Bill about business interruptions insurance?
We talked briefly about that a while ago, but I haven't spoke with him in I would say the past year on that.
Okay. So when we have these discussions for budget, then I'll bring it up, right? We should probably be thinking about what happens if road reconstruction really does a number on the revenues. And I'm not sure how much the city's willing, whether we're responsible for funding it ourselves or whether the city would have insurance based on that. So I'll leave that. I'll have that as a topic for our budget discussions.
And in regards to next year, right, you know, all it takes is a lot of earth movers around hole number 2 to deter people from wanting to play here, right? Even though the hole might be open, you know, we might see some backlash due to that, right? So that's all I'm saying is that I understand that the bulk of the construction is scheduled to occur in 2023, but we are tampering with a golfer's experience due to earth movers potentially being adjacent to the hole.
So it sounds like we need to invest in some signs that say the golf course is open.
Possibly, yeah. I don't know what that all is going to look like. You know, that's really 2023, Mark. That we're going to need to really dive into that.
Yeah. Okay.
2023 is going to be the year that we need to up our marketing. We need to, you know, we're going to have to do what we need to do in 2023.
Okay.
But from a cost perspective, everybody, you know, I'm still working with staff. I do genuinely feel very comfortable with this this revenue projection. gross revenue projection, right, for 2022. Costs, I'm still working out staff, what they're thinking. If we're going to continue being this busy, we need to beef up our either staff count, or we need to restructure those that are potentially salaried employees and give more duties, or spread the duties out, or do something. I got to figure that out. So I'm still working out those details.
Okay,
When would you have to know that by, Jeremy? Like, to have all that in line when you need it?
August 20th, we need to submit a budget to the essentially Bill in the finance department. And frankly, I'm working with right now, there's a staff member that's one of our FTEs that has an opportunity at a different location. And, so I'm working with Brian as far as what we can and cannot do there. So that number might change just due to that, right? Because I don't want to lose a team member, a valuable team member. But granted, it's not going to impact. I mean, we're certainly not going to get to zero. So we'd still be very in the positive based on my projections.
okay.
All right. You've got a good group.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we really do. We have a great team. I mean, we're working very, very hard, and that's what.
Well, I say that because I want us to remain competitive with the people that want to steal good employees, because we have good employees.
Good point, Tom.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Well, usually money helps, but
Yeah.
you're caught up in a city or any public entity with fairly strict salary bands or reimbursement bands, or whatever you want to call them, payroll bands. It can be really difficult. I don't know. I had my struggle in my career. I haven't tried to do anything in the city, but I imagine it can't be easy. What about bonuses, Mark? I've always had a question about bonuses in the city. Do we ever pay bonuses?
Ask that.
We do and we don't. And I'll just leave it at that. So theoretically, there's a merit component to salary.
Right.
So I think that's the closest we get to actual paying bonuses.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask Brian. I had brought this up before Brian came on board, and I think it got put on hold. I can't remember who the previous, Melissa. So I gave it to Melissa to kick around and just never heard anything back, because I think she was on her way out the door when we talked. So it's certainly something that's feasible. I think we can probably do it because this is an enterprise fund.
Right.
The question is how we structure it and what other issues would we run into in terms of equity for the city, other city employees.
Right. Yep. Well, it's something to keep in mind. All right.
So do you need a motion, Jeremy? Or is this just for informational?
I don't think we need a motion right now. Maybe let me submit the budget, and during our next meeting, I'll have a final budget, and then you guys can approve, and then that way, once it does go to finance and common council in October, Mark, or maybe it's September, I don't know.
It's in September is when the budget stuff starts.
Let me ask a follow-up to that. Are you in any better position to argue for what you've shown us if we give you our approval for that tonight?
Right?
Did we approve your preliminary budget?
I
I'm
don't
sorry,
think
can you
I
say
don't
that
think it
again?
matters, Tom.
All right, fine, let's move on.
Yeah. I think you just submit it, and then if we have to make changes, we have to make changes.
All right,
I'm not exactly sure who put this stuff in here. That sure was not me.
capital expense and facility improvement plan?
Well, hold on. Can we go into capital budget now?
Yes.
Can you guys still see the screen?
Yep, sure can.
And you all received this, as well, but here's what I'm proposing for capital. So the city actually is trying to do an LED light exchange, right? I got approached by the city, and the golf course just happens to be on the rotation to switch out all lights to LED. And so that's what that 10 grand is budgeted for.
That's a lot of light bulbs.
Yeah.
Well, that includes the parking lot lights and the entire clubhouse and downstairs and changing out some of the bollards and all that good stuff.
To give you an estimate on electricity savings.
Did not give me an estimate on electricity savings, no.
Okay. So one of the things I don't see on there is anything having to do with solar. Until
It's on there.
26.
Line 20.
I'm surprised that they haven't asked for it sooner.
They did actually mention it. And I said something along the lines, well, can you guys get me a quote on what it would be? And I never heard back as far as that goes. When we last looked into this, I think this was like 2 years ago, we all agreed that this wasn't in our best interest for at least the 5-year term. Because there was
You
no
may-
ROI on it.
You may want to have a conversation with Kelly again, because the city is getting grant money out of ARPA. And this may be something that's.
I did. I sent an email. Hey, Kelly, what's the quote? Right? And I'm not going to sit there and go turn my wheels on this, right? When it's not something.
The reason I'm asking is because it has come up in council that either Kelly or somebody in that whole sustainability chain are looking to put solar as many places as they can. And with the thought possibly that some of this would be funded from ARPA or some other grants. And I know when we looked at it a year ago, we didn't have the ROI on it, but it may be that if it's grant enabled or ARPA enabled, then it might be worth a second chance, second look. So that's all I'm saying is that before this surprises you, you may want to just have another conversation with Kelly.
I mean, we spoke last on July 13th of 2021.
Okay, and she didn't have anything to offer you.
Here's what I was told. Plan on doing a 2022 capital budget request for lighting. That's what I was told. And then I was told Kelly will be the one best to know the cost of solar. And then Kelly responded, I believe the solar would be a separate capital request, although LED lighting would reduce energy, thereby making the solar go further and cover more of the remaining electricity use. Thanks for checking it out, Todd. That was the last correspondence.
Okay.
I mean, if you want me to make this more of a priority, then
No, I'm not suggesting you make it a priority. I think that there's two different tracks here. I don't think that you were hearing everything, because I was under the impression that they were going to try and put solar everywhere. So, and having grant money pay for most of it. So if that's not it may be that I misheard that, but I was certainly under the impression that solar would be more of a focus for the 22 budget.
I'm sorry, Mark, was it 22 or 23? I missed.
For the 22 budget.
Okay.
So just.
I'm not aware of that at all.
Okay. All right. Let it go then.
Mark, where's the council on solar?
Solar, the council would like to put solar on every kind of rooftop we have.
Then we should at least sincerely ask about them having the people provide us the numbers on what it would take from our side to make that happen. If nothing else, it's a gesture to whoever might want to ask on the council. And it might turn out to be a good deal.
Right. And that's the only reason I brought it up, is because I thought that the city had, I think the sustainability group is probably more focused on putting solar on everything.
Sure.
Than they may not have actually pushed that out to the people that own the rooftops yet.
And energy is a big deal inside the infrastructure bill, which is going to pass. So there's going to be more money yet.
Could be, yes.
Might be a good time.
So I just sent Kelly an email just asking, hey, what's the process of exploring solar more?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
You're now on record as being interested. Not
No,
necessarily
I'm
sold.
interested. It's just, like I look at our budget request and there's so many other things that we need to tackle, right? And
I agree.
that's all.
Yeah.
So
Everything's got two edges to it.
that's right. Yeah. And it's if it's 50 grand, is that where we want to spend 50 grand, right? Or if the city is mandating this, right? Or not maybe mandating it, maybe this is a good opportunity for us to use the capital reserve funds and not reinvesting into taking 50 grand away from our capital budget, right?
No, so just to be clear, my understanding is that this is not going to be a city expense or capital expense, that this would all be from grants.
Oh, so it'd be 100% funded, Mark?
That's what I was under the impression.
Got it.
So,
Okay, if that's the case, I mean, yeah, why wouldn't we? I mean, if that's the city's objective, to
right.
be.
And it was all grant funded, right? So if it's not grant funded, then we have to fit it into where we think our ROI looks like, right? But if it's an opportunity to put solar on the rooftop and 70 to 80% of it is paid by grant, then we should take a real hard look at it.
Okay, well, I'll see what she says. I mean, she did indicate that it would be a capital expense. What that means, I don't know. So I'll see what she says, and it's on the list for capital budgets, right? We could, if we decide, or if you all decide that you would like that bumped up, to 2022, then fine. My proposal would be that we use some of our capital reserve funds then to use that, as opposed to not buying, for example, a greens mower, which has a direct effect.
When we learn how they want to pay for it.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so let's just move on. So bunker renovation, I think we're, rather than us spending, a large chunk, we're tackling these bunkers that need to get done because of the conditions of them. 8 Woods is the next one that we're really looking at because it gets flooded so much. And so I want to continue doing that bunker renovation, right? This pond hawk aeration, we want to continue improving the quality of our ponds, right? For mosquitoes and all that good stuff. So we still want to invest in some aeration in in our 2 large ponds. One of them is the irrigation pond, and the other one is the one that is right next to Prairie number 3, which is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Cart path improvement, again, that's part of the capital reserve study that they suggested that we start improving cart path stuff. So I'm keeping that in there. We need to start looking at the design fees for 9 Woods or potentially something else that we want to do with Kevin Norby. So that's why I have 9 Woods and Prairie 8 Green in there, from consulting fees, etc. Greens mower, as of right now, we are looking into getting a new greens mower to keep the fleet being rotated appropriately, to keep the greens in the conditions that we want them. And then we need to start looking at some kitchen equipment replacement and potentially HVAC replacement. These are just things right now that we have in here that I have not solidified 100%. The other thing that we have is this storage shed that we were looking at, potentially trying to build a storage shed at the end of our range where we could, instead of having, in some of these golf outings, our chairs and tables being stored in the back room, we could potentially store them into a storage shed. So that's what the storage shed is. And then with us increasing the cart fleet numbers, we also need to move some of our storage or our dry storage goods from downstairs into a different location. So that's what we are exploring with the storage shed.
So what I don't see in here is any of the costs for starting that whole movement, the greens movement for construction.
Nope, right here, Mark.
Okay.
Well, so are you probably talking about lake number 2 and lake number 3?
Yep.
That's paid for by TIF.
Yep, but it still needs to be on here with the financing coming under the TIF column.
Oh, so I was under the impression, and we've never had this on our projection, that would be on their sheet.
Well, let's confirm that, because I don't know if they're going to pick that up under the road budget. So I would put it on there as a capital expense and have it under the funding source be under TIF.
Okay.
Just so that it's on there, right? So we've got architectural fees from Norby, whatever the final plans are, and then whatever your initial construction estimates are going to be. That should be part of the capital expense if we're going to start it next year, right? So if there's a piece for 22 and a piece for 23 that we're going to be completed, that whole reconstruction, you should identify those and put that expense under that tax, or under that TIF column.
Okay. I can do that.
What's the change? I'm sorry. Who did I step on?
No, it's just a coordination thing, right? I would tell you that I would doubt very highly that the TIF project plan for that road reconstruction is going to have your golf, that whole reconstruction on it. It's going to be all.
You're right.
I'm happy to do that. No problem.
Yeah.
No reason not to ask. But what are you doing to number 8 Prairie?
So that was part of, so that kind of goes in this capital expense reserve chat, right? Which we can roll into that, but 8 Prairie. So Kevin Norby and I were talking, and we're going, okay, if we're going to have earth movers out here in 2023, right? Let's use them to our full advantage within reason. Where can we improve the golf course? Well, we know that number 9 Woods is a funny one, right? Because of the slope of the green, and we agree that we would like that reconstructed. And then I got me thinking, well, geez, if they're here, why wouldn't we do something else that we don't like? Well, 8 Prairie is a very difficult par 3 and we don't have a downhill par 3. And we have slope over there. And I'm wondering, wow, what if we could have Kevin design a better par 3 for us? And we have loads of room, so it'd be down and to the left. And we could continue playing the old 8 Prairie without having any problems, right? Theoretically. Okay. And then now all of a sudden we finally have a good downhill par 3, which is something that we don't have. So it's just an idea that I had. I'm not saying that we should do it. So maybe I should reconstruct that or rephrase that to say, improvements to the golf course, architectural design improvements or what have you, I don't know. But then he and I were talking about other things. What about lake number 1 green, you know, and creating a better shelf on the back right portion? What about lake number 7? Should that be redesigned green? What about adding women's tee box, more additional, more forward tee boxes? What about drainage on hole number? Like, these are all things that he is going to plan a visit sometime in the very near future that we're going to come up and we're going to present ideas to you guys.
I like all of that.
Yeah, right. I mean, but
Yeah.
so it's like, where do we spend the money, right? And I think that's part of the question that I have for you all, right, is, you know, we have the reserve fund of $1 million or whatever the number is currently, right? And we're certainly going to add to that after this year. At least my projections are we're going to add to that. You know, do we invest? Is that part of the reserve fund, right? As opposed to the $300,000? I don't know the answer to that. That's where I'm going to help ask for your advice on this, right? And what you all think is best for this golf course. But these are just ideas that I currently have. And what about improving the practice facility? What about adding a better practice green or a practice bunker? I mean, there's so many things that we could do. And that's where I reached out to Kevin Norby and just asked for his professional advice.
All right.
So yes, we should include all these as potential capital projects, but look at the cash flows, right? If in 24, you're looking at adding to the maintenance building. In 25, you're looking at putting an outdoor pavilion. In 26, you're talking about doing some pavement reconstruction. There's $1 million right there.
So Mark, I agree. I have those as my thoughts right now. This isn't finalized, right? So
right.
The maintenance building, that's part of this ongoing capital reserve, right? Does the maintenance building, instead of that being a capital project, is that from our capital reserve?
No, I'm just saying that you're talking about $1 million reserve. You've already spent $1 million on those 3 projects.
I haven't. If we use some of those in our $300,000, this is where I think we need a game plan.
So I think the answer is you identify everything that you'd like to do, and then we sort out what we think we can afford and how to pay for it. Right? That's really the answer. Is how do you pay for the things that we want?
And that outdoor pavilion, that was just more of a note for me right now. It's going, okay, do I keep that in the capital? Is that something that we want? I don't know. Right.
But the thing is that we should, again, I think you're doing the right thing by identifying all of these improvements to the course. Some of them will fund, some of them we won't, and that's how you move forward. Right, so I would expect that this thing would look more like the wish list from the capital reserve plan, and to sketch that out, and then we figure out, you know, as we move along, what we spend through the annual capital spend versus whatever other reserve fund spend, if we want to go that route. But it's better to have the whole picture. I would fill this up with as many projects as you can think of.
Okay.
I agree, and I'd add the word potential near the top.
Okay, I'm happy to do that. It actually helps me out with my train of thought, right?
Right. The challenge for you is to get cost estimates for all this stuff. So I think you're in good shape for 22. Just to add the reconstruction caused by Pleasant View Road. But then for the outer years, we just need to have a list of what we think is possible.
Mark, now finance and council, you know, I think they know that the trends that we look for $300,000 of capital improvements for Pleasant View Golf Course. When I sit there and I put a $400,000 reconstruction, they're gonna understand what that is, right? That they know that that's not from our fees.
It's not from our what?
Not our fees, but our expense category. They'll know that, correct? I mean, if I put, you know, we're funding it through user fees versus TIF.
Oh, scroll to your right a little bit. Let me see that. No, I would put it all in capital budget.
Even the road?
Well, what's the road?
No, the road, my understanding is TIF was gonna fund the like Lake
Oh.
2 redesign and Lake 3
Yes,
redesign.
so that goes in the TIF column,
Yep.
but all these other things would go into capital budget.
Yes,
No, it would be the funding source. It would be for us user fees and department revenue.
No, it would go to capital budget. We would understand that this is coming from, it's self-funded.
Okay,
The other thing is that if you're talking about using that $1 million, that would go under fund balance.
okay, got it. Okay, so I can put, I understand. Okay. And I'm not saying we spend the $1 million just because we have, I think we need to keep, keep as much as we can just for, Pleasant View Road's sake, right?
Right.
I'm just saying, gosh, do we want to spend $100 grand extra to improve the golf course since we already have earth movers? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and yeah, so just use those 3 columns, right?
Okay, right on.
capital-
I understand what you want.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
I think the council understands that if golf says capital budget, it's self-fund. So typically what happens, just so everybody gets an idea, if you put something in that capital budget column, the expectation is that that's borrowed money, right? But for golf, it's everything in here is, except for TIF, is self-funded.
right. And I don't want to give people that, the general public or anybody on council or the finance committee, that's the perception that we're expecting. My understanding is that it's the user fees that is funding our capital request.
It is, but for the sake of conformity to what we've done in the past, I think you just use those 3 columns.
Okay,
I
fair
think
enough.
so just so you're aware, when we go through these discussions, right, we understand that when we talk about capital for golf, we understand that there's no borrowing, it's all self-funded,
Okay,
which is why it's a pretty much a slam dunk. If you identify your 300 grand, nobody's going to say anything because the enterprise fund has that control. Right. I think
Yep.
more people would get more into the rationale behind some of the planned spending if we had to borrow for this, and it had to be in right if it was in competition with other capital requests. But it's not, right? Because it's all self-funded.
got it.
Okay, right on. I'll make those adjustments and I'll submit this to, the finance department in the coming 10 days or 11 days or whatever it is. And then when we have our next meeting, I'll just seek your approval, make sure that you guys are all good with it, and we'll go from there. Sound good?
Yes,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
So then my other question and maybe this is more directed to Mark, is you made a comment that I think we didn't use 60 grand of last year's, this is a very broad number, 60 grand of last year's capital funds because we were worried about COVID and not meeting our budget. Are we wanting to just keep that in the reserve, or are you wanting me to spend that 60 grand in 2021, excuse me?
My understanding was we were going to roll that over into the next capital expenditure budget.
We can do it either way. I think my concern was that there was a security issue that we needed to resolve.
Oh, what issue? I'm sorry.
A security issue that we needed to resolve along the property lines.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so the trouble is that there's been no movement on that.
Yeah, but I bet there's gonna be movement coming.
Who's
Okay.
supposed to move?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Who is doing the movement that's not moving? Like who's
This is the
taking
bike,
next step?
the bike and ski clubs, the
Right.
the Olympic Ski Center,
Yeah,
right? They're moving, as far as I know, they're moving forward with plans to get that thing up and going. And as soon as so look in the rec PRFC's capital plans. I believe that some of that road stuff is going in.
Okay.
It's
I think
coming.
the trouble,
The
I think
question
the
is-
trouble that we're having is that, we'd love to see the patterns and where we, where cross-country needs to access the golf course and where we're just a little hesitant to put in a fencing until we understand what our needs are and where they are.
That's fine. I thought we had, right, I thought there were a couple of areas that were sensitive.
There are, and we're managing that on a very limited basis, right? We've added some fencing in some locations. We're going to continue adding some fencing this October. But it's not 60 grand, right? We're talking, we have our own post digger now. We're kind of doing this ourselves.
So I think the answer is that you spend as much as you need to spend this year, and anything that's not spent, you roll into next year's plan.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry. Let me clarify. We're going to be close to the $300,000 budget. We're not going to go over. But last year we spent roughly 240 because of COVID. My question is, do you want us, are we supposed to be, you made a comment a few months ago that 60 grand needs to be spent.
No, I think that we need to make sure that if it could be spent on viable projects, that we do our best to make sure that we keep that level of capital spend as close to 3 as per year as possible.
Well, then
I'm not trying
then
to make up spending, right?
No, I understand that. Then my question is, right, is what if we found that 60 grand extra in 2022 or 2023, right? We spent 330 because we didn't spend it in 2020.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. If we present that to the council and say, hey, we were worried about COVID, we didn't get to use some of these items because we wanted to make sure we made budget.
I think that's okay.
Okay. That helps me out.
I think because what we can do is we can say that, our spending plan has been 300 grand, and due to COVID, we undershot, and we're going to still spend that money on different projects in later years.
Okay.
I think that's perfectly fine.
Okay, sounds good. That's what I needed right there. Thank you. Okay, anything else?
Not for me. You have to shut us down, Kelsey.
Oh, well, do we need to talk future agenda items?
Yes, we do.
Sounds,
I think you just keep the capital and operating budgets on the next list, as well as any updates from road reconstruction.
I think it's a pretty mirror image of this
Yeah.
agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree.
Hey,
right,
Mark, do you know when the dates that you guys are starting exactly to have the budget meetings?
I don't know exactly. I know
Okay,
that
that's okay.
they typically start in September.
So September 6th is Labor Day. Do we want to
Doing.
meet on, the options in my mind would be the 13th or the 20th of September?
should we do 20th to make sure that you do have the budget meetings?
That sounds reasonable to me.
September 20th,
Okay,
works for me.
then do we have a motion to adjourn for today?
Oh, I'm sorry. I so move.
Second.
Second, who was that?
Mine.
Is that Mark? So Tom and Mark?
All in favor?
I
Aye.
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 Jeremy, before you go,
Yeah.
quick question. I'm getting some comments from people I play with and people I don't about how ugly the top of the range is looking after the, so we've got the new mats,
Yep.
but the thing that used to be grass is really, it's a sad sight.
Yep. So couple things that happened. Number one, we had that drought, which didn't help, right? And number two is we have plans to reshape that.
Right.
So just tell them to be patient with us and that we are addressing it. It is on our radar. It's just not the top of priority right now. We're trying to just get through season, make sure we're producing the best product for you all currently, and then we hope to address something either late this fall with that or spring of next year.
Okay, thanks.
Jeremy, is that part of taking out the hill there or part of the hill?
Yeah, we're looking into that. You know, I think that that's the right thing to do, and maybe that's part of the capital expenditures into to next year is that we. That's what we're exploring, Carl, is how can we, what we were trying to do is figure out, okay, can we do this ourselves, right? Do we have the equipment or can we rent equipment that we could shape that slope ourselves and then really redo kind of that top portion that Tom is talking about. And we just haven't had the opportunity or time to really dive into it.
Got it.
Good enough.
But yeah, I do feel like that needs to be done. It is remarkable, those mats and how many people are still using the practice facility. It is absolutely remarkable. So yeah, I still believe that mats was the right move.
Yeah.
I would
Big
just
money
like
maker,
to
you
do something more about what you're talking about, Tom and Carl.
Keep making money. Kelsey, one quick question for you. Did you get
Yeah.
new glasses?
Oh, I've got a few blue light glasses. Yeah.
Oh, I wondered what you were doing. All
Just
right,
'cause
I'm
sitting on
done.
my
I'm being
computer all
told I
day.
have to go do dinner. Night, everybody.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
See you guys. Take care.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody. Let me stop sharing this thing here.